Life insurance companies have found yet another way to make money even when they're paying out death benefits. Among those they are now profiting from, survivors of Americans killed in Iraq and Afghanistan. Here's one family's experience as described in the new issue of Bloomberg Markets magazine. The mother of one soldier killed overseas said that she never received her son's $400,000 insurance as a lump sum. Instead, she received what looked like a checkbook from Prudential Financial, which told her the money had been deposited in an interest-bearing account. The insurer pays as little as 0.5% in interest and keeps the money in its own account, making about 5% on the money and pocketing the difference. Survivors are told that their money is safe, but the account is not insured by the government. Now, Prudential says it fully discloses everything it does, but it's not just the survivors of Americans killed overseas who are in this position. Joining us now is the author of that Bloomberg Markets article, Bloomberg senior writer David Evans. He's in Los Angeles. And David, you spent about half a year researching this story. It all sounds very distasteful, but what did you find was the worst part of what these insurance companies are doing?
Good morning. Nice to be here. This account was developed by MetLife in 1984, and in the article we talked to the fellow who invented it, and basically it was designed to allow life insurance companies that spend a lot of money getting money in, commissions and expenses, to keep that money even after someone dies and they would normally pay it out. So basically what happens, instead of writing a check, which is the way that life insurance companies would deal with survivors in the past, they send them a checkbook. It's actually not a checkbook. It's something like this. It's a draft book. And it doesn't really link to an account in a bank.
So how do people get the money then? Well,
they're able to use these things that are called drafts. And these ones that I'm holding actually are issued by Prudential Life Insurance Company to the survivors of soldiers that are killed in Iraq and Afghanistan. And it comes with this book, and it's a draft book. It's not a checkbook. And they can write a check. They can write a check to get their money. However, we found that they're not always accepted because these checks are not similar to a regular check. As I say, it's a draft.
Right.
And it can't be used. In many cases, many stores will not accept it because it can't be immediately turned to cash.
Is this standard operating procedure at this point in the insurance industry, David?
Well, since 1984, there are more than 100 life insurance companies that have adopted using this as the means of paying out. And they've kind of created a shadow banking system. There are now 1 million of these accounts that hold $28 billion of money that would have been paid out in the old days to survivors and is now being held as a profit center by the life insurers.
And it sounds like it's unregulated. Do regulators know how widespread this is? Do they understand the nuances?
Well, we found that regulators really do not understand the nuances. There are less than 10 states out of the 50, according to the National Association of Insurance Commissioners, that actually have regulations set up. And even those regulations really go to issues like disclosure and telling people that they have a right to write a check, a single check, to get all their money out of the account. But what we find is as much as half or more of these accounts remain open for a year or more, because when people receive the account, when they receive this document and the explanations, they're bereaved, they're upset.
Sure.
And there's a lot of reassuring information here that tells people that they have security, flexibility, control. They make this sound like a good thing, but actually the 0.5% that Prudential is paying to survivors of soldiers and that MetLife is paying to federal employee survivors is less than half what they could get if they simply opened an account, a money market account in a federally insured bank and simply deposited the money there.
All right. We thank you for your investigation, your story. Thank you so much. David Evans, Bloomberg senior markets magazine writer.